it. Okay, that's the spot. Come on, tank. Shh, be quiet. We're waiting for rhinos. Don't make so much noise. Okay, we're on infrared lights. So to the rhinos approaching that tree now. There's no interference. And I can hear the grass rustling, so let's see. A bit of luck, we'll see a good old rubbing session. And they should come in from the right hand side there. Remember just yesterday, under that tree we had a leopard cub sitting there smelling and sniffing, maybe wondering what animals rub here. And if that leopard could be here now, it'll have its answer. Look at that. Yay! It's not often you actually see this because the animal has to be nice and relaxed. Can't be alerted or bothered by anything like noise or lights. We're good old to see the one in the back as well, both of them having a scrub. Fantastic. Now again, what I mentioned earlier is that the mud obviously cools them down. You can see the rhinos just listening. You can hear my voice a little bit. Just going to be quiet for a little. Look at that. It's going to scratch its chest and its belly now. Try and not talk too loud. Look at that. All the hard to reach places. Inside of the leg. It must feel good. And I was saying as earlier I mentioned that mud obviously cools them down, but probably a more important aspect is the hygiene side, getting rid of parasites. And this would suggest or support that. These rhinos had a rub, or a wallow shall I say. They were in the mud earlier, and they walked straight here. Look at that. The chest, under the head, between the legs, all the little places where those ticks need to be scrubbed or rubbed off. This is a very cool sighting. Again, sometimes it's maybe important that I mention things that you don't see often. You don't see this very often. I've maybe seen rhinos having a good rub like this maybe 5 or 6 times in total ever. I spent 4.5 years in Pilanesberg National Park, which is one of the top areas in the world for viewing rhino. You see rhino a lot there, and even there you don't see it very often. So this is quite a rare behavior to see. Yeah, this guy did a good job of the wallowing. He's perfectly covered in mud, about 90% of his body. Look at that between the legs, similar move to the other guy. Guys, keep in mind, this is about a 2-ton animal. It weighs about 60% more than the tank that we drive. It's a very large animal to be moving around, scratching some very delicate areas. Sure, it feels good though. There you can see the square mouth very nicely, especially in this case where the lip is almost white compared to the dark body. Also, you can, maybe a more technically correct name is a square-lipped rhino as opposed to the hook-lipped rhino for your black rhino. The white rhino, as you can see in this case, color is a very relative thing with rhinos. This one is both black and white, just depending on where it's got what kind of mud on it. But the mouth is certainly one of the ways to ID them. And I'm going to rub my face a little bit more. can see this rhino is good at hygiene. Now whether it's maybe just coincidence tonight or maybe in general, who knows. But you can see did a very good job of wallowing again. Almost the entire body is covered in mud. He's spending quite a bit more time than the other rhino at the rubbing part. Now if this was a general habit, this rhino would probably live a couple of years longer, who knows, just because it's going to have less parasites, less things that causes it irritation. And we all know healthy skin is important. Well, and with that big backside going, that was really cool. It's one of the best rhino sightings I think I've had in, well, forever really. It was awesome.